the TV. There's no harm in lying on the couch, but when you know your head is in a bad position, but you're just too lazy to change the position, or you feel comfortable at that point, but you get up after and you think, oh Lord. Improper workstation setups can also lead to microtraumas in the neck, producing eventual pain. What I mean by that is, if I'm working, doing something here in front of me, but I have to, say my computer, and I have to, the monitor is set up over here, and I'm doing this all the time, that tiny little movement all the time can cause what we call microtraumas. Very slight all the time, and we can get problems in the neck. Wrist tendinitis, not to be confused with carpal tunnel syndrome. Tendinitis is an inflammation of the tendons, and this is caused by repeated movements that can cause the tendons to get inflamed. Repeated movements all the time with your hands, without giving it a chance to rest and recover. Pain is associated with tendinitis, and this causes a limitation in the movement of the wrist. Degenerative joint diseases, which at some time or the other we will all have. This is the wearing away of the cartilage surrounding the joints, and those black points are where most of it occurs. Those are the joints. The cartilage becomes frayed, and this can be quite severe, and it causes pain and loss of movement. Some of us tend to call it arthritis. Now, the right fit. To do the right thing, there has to be a fit between the worker and the task. The worker's capabilities and the task demands have to coincide. There is no point, for example, getting a 5'2" person to stack a shelf that is going to be 6 foot something, and we don't provide them with anything to step up on to stack. We have to get the task demands with the right workers. When workstations have to be set up appropriately to try and prevent and eliminate injuries, we have to do that. And the workstations I'm talking about are not just your computer workstations. You're working at home. When you have your counters at home, we have standard heights for counters. The architect tells you your sink should be this level because it's standard. We are not standard. We have short people, we have tall people, and we have all in between. Why should a short person have a standard counter and she's raising up straight, stretching? Why should a tall person have a standard counter when we've got to bend over all the time? We've got to fit these things for ourselves. Desktops have to be arranged within the safety zone areas. Again, desks are standard. A short person on that desk, when you lift your chair up, their feet are hanging. A tall person on that desk, you drop your chair down, their knees knock the top of the desk. We can't tell the factory workers that we have to change the desktops. However, we can lift the desks up very slightly by putting pieces of board underneath. The short people, we can't cut the desk, but when your feet are hanging, you can put a stool, a step, or nobody from Batelco here, right? Batelco's yellow pages All yellow pages, don't throw them away, are fantastic for resting your feet on. I mentioned safety zones a while ago. We have safety zones, and safety zones are areas in where we should work. Consider a traffic light. In a traffic light, green means go. When you go, that's the safest area. And for us, green is the safest area, which is closest to your body. When you are doing work, anything closest to your body is the safest. Yellow, which is caution, in our safety zone is a little bit further from your body, but within this area. Red, which is danger and stop, is even further, which is in this area. Why I'm telling you about a safety zone is I need you to realize that if you're doing any work, any lifting, any carrying, if you're doing it out in that dangerous safety zone, you're going to have problems. A weight held close to you, say a 10-pound weight, held close to you, if you are moving it, weighs 10 pounds. That same weight, if you stretch it out this way, becomes 10 times heavier. So what we're working with, if we're carrying something around, is 10 pounds here and 100 pounds out there. Think of the strain that that is putting on your back, your shoulders, your elbows, your whole body. You've got to work within your safety zones. So anytime you're thinking of lifting, carrying, moving, work within your safety zones. Again, back to your computer stations. And remember, I did say this was for office setup, but we can use it at home. When you have a chair at your computer, your chair should always have an adjustable seat height. And I'm going to get in problems here, I know, because you're going to go back to your offices and things like that and say, I said. I have no problems. You should always have an adjustable backrest. Your armrests should also be adjustable. The support of the back, the support of the feet, your arms, they should always be supported. And that's why, again, I said that Batelco book, for those people with their legs swinging when the chairs are too high, you need to support your feet. Your keyboard, even at home, your keyboard, you have the letters on your keyboard and the numbers. I'm not talking about the split keyboard, but the keyboard with the letters and the numbers. The B of the keyboard should always be in line with your belly button. That's how you know that your keyboard is set up perfectly in front of you. When you're using your keyboard, we all know that you should strike lightly. It's not a... Wrist should be nice and relaxed. The mouse should always be held lightly, and the mouse should be on the same level as your keyboard. Your monitor, best position for the monitor. Remember, I told you, if you're working on your keyboard and you keep doing this, you're going to get those little micro traumas. The distance of your monitor should be at arm's length. And if you stretch out your fingers and your hands, the middle fingers should touch the middle of your monitor. So those of you who are working at an office, go back, sit in comfortably, stretch out, middle fingers at shoulder level, touches the middle of the monitor. You should have a good placed monitor. That will give you the proper distance and the proper height.
and you know you adjust your screen for your colors, the